What up, friends? How are you doing? This time change has really got me messed up, okay? I don't know what it is, friends, but yesterday at work, the whole 12 hours, it was struggling. I was struggling to keep these eyes open. Coffee, nothing would help me. Like, I just needed my bed and some time, okay, to get a nap in. So when I got home from work, I went straight to bed. Like literally. Like I came in, called my son. He didn't answer, he was busy. So then I laid down, took like I had to put my alarm on because I knew I wasn't gonna wake up. Like that's how tired I was. I put my alarm on for like 30 minutes just to get a power nap in. The best little disco nap. Man, I hadn't had disco naps in a minute and it felt pretty good. I don't know if it's the time change or what's going on. But after that, I went back to sleep, got woke up, called my son. He was finally available. And then I ran an errand, came home, went back to bed. Like, I'm just so tired all the time. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And then this morning I wake up, I'm still tired. And I'm like, I'm just gonna just, I'm not as tired as it was yesterday. So I will say that. So I don't know if it's a time change or what it is or my energy in my body. I don't know if it's I'm like recalibrating. Is that what it's called? Where you're like resetting or whatever. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm so over it. Anyway, so let's talk about my jazzy life and Liv's life. Lovers and friends is what I named this. And let me tell you why, okay? Anytime I have friends, and you might be able to use this information, so I'm just going to use this with you. Even if you have siblings, um, best friends, whatever. If you have friends in your life or besties or best siblings, this is the way I avoid drama, okay? I always say I'm just over here minding my own business because that's exactly what I'm doing, okay? I'm minding my own business, the business that pays me, which is my own, okay? But I will say that whenever people are having issues in their relationships, I don't stick my nose in anybody's relationships because I don't want people sticking their nose into my relationships, okay? Because when other people get involved in two people's like it's a relationship is between two people. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in thruples. I don't believe in marrying several people. I just that's not me. Okay. It's between what when one person loves another, whether it's two males, two females, a man and a woman, whatever. Okay. A relationship is a couple, a two people. Okay. And once other people get involved in this said relationship, that's when things get muddy. Okay. Um, I know some people like to ask advice and want to know, okay, what do you think? What should I do? Okay, me, I'm not that type of person. I keep my relationships on wraps, like on the low until I feel safe because until I feel secure. So if my family has never heard, like if I'm talking to somebody, my family doesn't know I was ever talking to anybody. It's because it never went to a certain. It has to go to a certain. It has to go up to a certain length, like a certain like it has to go to a certain point for me to introduce to my family. I think I've mentioned that before. I'm very private, not secretive, but just because I don't know if things are going to work out with you. So I won't mention anything and, and especially because I like to protect the person that I might potentially be getting into a relationship with. I won't ever talk bad. Like if there's something weird going on, like red flags, I keep them to myself because I don't want any of my family. Because my family's very protective over me. They all are, because it's very rare that I bring anybody around. And when I do, I don't want them to not like the person. You know what I mean? Um, Not that it would make any difference. It's just I don't want anybody to have any like gray area. Like, oh, well, remember when they were first talking and he did this to her. Or whatever. No, I don't. I don't bring anything up until it is serious And still at that, I will protect you throughout our whole relationship because I don't want anybody thinking bad about my lover. That's just how I am. And I understand other people are different and they maybe aren't, I don't know, for some whatever reason, they bring their family in on their relationship issues or potentials or whatever. Okay, me myself, because a lot of people come to me for advice, okay, all the time. So this is something I gotta watch, okay. When people come and I like they're having problems in their relationships and they're like venting or whatever, and they're telling you, oh, this guy just, you know, he has another girlfriend, or oh, I caught him cheating or whatever. I never will ever tell anybody not to be with somebody. It's not my life. That's your life. I understand you're just talking to me to vent to me. I am not going to tell you what to do in your relationship, in your life. I don't do that. Despite what people think, I don't do that. That's none of my business. That's your life. That's your lover. You do what you want. Okay. Just be careful. Sometimes I will say that, just be careful because these people, because they do have foresight. So I can tell. I can tell when people are using other people. And it's hard to tell people, like, bitch, you're getting played. It's hard to say that. So I usually just say, be careful. And I just leave it like that. It's no like, oh my gosh, you have to leave them. You have to leave them. It's because people are in each other's lives to learn lessons, couples included. So if that's a lesson you got to learn, how am I going to tell you, like, oh, this person's cheating on you, this person's just using you? I would never say that. Those words will never come out of my mouth because I've also learned whenever somebody's not good for somebody, which is what I think what happened with Liv and Jazzy. They were friends, whatever. And maybe Jazzy would vent to Liv about her man, and Liv took that information and used it, which is what she's using now. I think Jazz was just venting because a lot of people in relationships, people have arguments all the time in relationships. Doesn't mean they're going to break up. And you can't go and tell them like, oh, he's no good for you. You need to leave him. You need to move on. You can't say that because she's not ready to let go. Even though we can see that Chris is not good for Jazzy, she has to see it in order for her to make movement. For now, she just needs somebody to talk to. She just needs somebody to vent to say, oh my gosh, he's just pissing me off today. He's being a dick. But you can't say to leave that person because tomorrow they're going to be lost in love and all hugged up and all lovey-dovey because they've had makeup sex. And here you are sitting there like a dumbass because you just told them the following day or the day before to leave him because he ain't no good for you. And even though she was complaining and she was probably agreeing with you, that's how people are. They will dump all of their issues on you just to vent. And that's normal for them. They just want somebody to hear what they got to say. I've learned that because a lot of people come to me with their problems. So I've learned that. And how stupid am I going to look being like, oh, there y'all are, calling Jazzy and then he's there in the background after I just done told you to leave his ass. Like, so whenever people come and they ask for advice, they probably just want to vent. I would never, ever, I never tell anybody what to do in their life because that is your life. When people come to me for for advice, I give them advice and possibly what the other person is thinking. But I never, ever try to make a decision for somebody else's love life. I've never done that and I never will. So that's where the situation got dicey with Liv and Jazz. I think she really thought maybe even Jazz was like, yeah, fuck him. I'm going to leave him. I'm going to leave him. And then whatever Chris laid it on her and she just changed her mind. And then there Liv is like, I thought you said you're going to leave. So then it becomes y'all's issue. Then y'all start arguing when y'all could have just stayed. You could have stayed neutral in the conversation. Just listen to what she had to say. And if you don't want people to trauma dump on you, excuse me, trauma dump on you, tell them, look, I understand y'all have issues and I'm always here for you for whenever you need advice. I'm here for you. But please keep the conversations about your relationship to a minimum. And that'll easily solve that problem right there. Jazzy wouldn't have come and been complaining about Chris every time there's an issue, which I would imagine would be a weekly thing with them. And it doesn't make you feel weird. Like you're not over here telling her, like, letting her know how you really feel about her relationships and telling her everything like, oh, I can't stand him. I always knew he was annoying. And then they're back together the next day. That's how people are. They argue, they fight, they love to complain. Like that's just their dynamic. That's how some people are in relationships. They're just always going at each other and they're always fighting. And then the next day they're all lost in love and fucking, humping each other just like nothing. Like, bitch, you just said you couldn't stand the motherfucker yesterday. Didn't we just have that discussion? Yeah, y'all did. But that's just what she's used to. She likes dysfunction. People thrive in dysfunctional relationships because that's what they're used to. And that her complaining, you think Jazzy was with Phil the Pimp for 10, 12, whatever fucking years and never complained about him to anybody? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That was just normal to him, to her. She is just going to deal with whatever he is putting out because that's her man and she's going to stick beside him no matter what. The only reason her and Phil the Pimp broke up is because he went to prison. That's it. Had he not gone to prison, they would have still been together. Miserable and all. So yeah, when you have people like that who just come to you and just want to be complaining about the relationships and you just don't want to hear about it anymore because they don't take your advice. They're going to do what they want anyway. Just tell them, look, I love you as a friend. I love you so much and I'm always here for you, but can we not talk about your deadbeat boyfriend? Because that I don't like. I feel you could do a lot better, but for whatever reason, you choose to be with him, but I still love you as a friend. And I will be with you for anything else but that motherfucker. Because it gets dicey because the woman is always going to choose the man no matter what you tell them. You can tell them the guy could be beating the fuck out of her and you probably heard it on the line, or saying inappropriate things to the children. That doesn't matter. She is going to stick beside him. And until Jazzy is ready to leave, the bitch will leave. But as it is right now, she's not going to. She's gonna stick beside him, and look, she's defending him more now. Now that everybody's against him, now she sees him as the victim because everybody talks shit about him. And she's gonna be, you saw her when she was pushing the fucking stroller. Like, she's huffing and puffing. Like, she's pissed off because we're talking about her dude. Something we've always done before, but now it just seems like no, not like now she can't share him on her page like she would like to. She can't share him as much. And that pisses her off because that was the whole point. What's the point of being in a relationship if you can't rub them in everybody's face? There's no point. Might as well stay single, right? I know when I get into a relationship, it's not going to be secret, okay? You will all know and you will all be annoyed, okay? Anyways, I'll let y'all go. And remember, if your friend comes to you for advice and it just gets out of hand to where you're like, all right, I'm tired of hearing about this man, just tell them respectfully, I love you, friend, but I'm not going to get into it. And don't ever tell anybody to break up with anybody because the bitch will be hugged up the next day like nothing happened. Okay? Alrighty. Y'all have a good day. Happy Tuesday. Bye bye.